Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, wherever you are. Welcome to the Vegan World 2026 Moonshot podcast. So, we are in episode 30, and today we are going to be talking about an event that's going to start on Saturday, May 1st, on May Day. And it is One World, One Day, One Action. Eating animals causes pandemics. And I'm joined today by Ray Ippolito, Vegan Ray.
How are you, brother?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a nice big breakfast, demolished a huge salad. I feel great.
Okay, awesome. Like Popeye the Sailor Man, right?
That's it, man. We grew up with this guy. I mean, did we not learn from an early age? Like, this is what you got to eat. Wimpy, remember Wimpy? I don't know if you remember this. Wimpy was the guy who was out of shape. All he ate was hamburgers. Popeye was jacked. He ate spinach. Why do we have to go further than that? We could have an interview right here if everyone just listened to Popeye.
I know. We would have shut it down a long time ago, right? So, first of all, before I get into this, the main topic, tell us how you got started in this. How did you get started in the vegan movement? Yeah.
Oh, the vegan movement. Well, so it happened about 15 years ago. I'll tell you, it's a crazy story. So it was December 23rd, and I was flying. I live up north near New York. I was flying home to Florida to see my family, as I do every year. And as I'm in the air, I was eating this bowl of food that they call it, and it was a bowl of pasta, and there's a piece of Italian sausage across. And I'm Italian, so I eat that stuff, like, unfortunately, my whole life. And before this time, I didn't have any friends who were vegetarian, no less vegan. And so I didn't really understand. It wasn't part of my periphery. I had no idea. So here's the crazy part. I cut into this piece of meat, and I swear to God, cut into it and just, like, I feel like I went into this piece of meat. And when I tell the story, I could even see it. It's like this whole dark room, dark purples and reds, these lights, whatever, very crazy. Animals, millions of animals screaming. And then right in front of me, a huge hog laid on her side, covered in blood. And she looked up at me and she squealed. She went, "What?" And it went through my whole body. And I started bawling. I started crying like a child on the airplane. My girlfriend at that time was with me, and she was, "Oh my God, what's going on?" I said, "I don't know." And I'm crying and crying. I don't know how long I was in that dream space. I don't know how long I was crying. I was just there. And when I stopped, I was just like, I looked at her. I said, "I am never going to hurt or kill an animal again the rest of my life." You know. And from that moment on, I started to look at what's going on, and true, full disclosure and true honesty, I lied to myself for almost a year, and I continued to eat dairy. Yeah. I thought that was okay. I thought the cows are okay, and they just milk them because they have to be. And then the eggs come because, they just make eggs, all the things that we've said and all the things that people still say. I bought into that. Even after that profound experience. And then from that moment, I was walking in this living room, and one day I just said, "You are full of crap. You're full of it. I just kept screaming that louder and louder, like, wow, like I really got it. And then I went vegan from that point. But before that, I was being active, and I right away started speaking to people and learning about it and talking about it very foolishly and very angrily and all the things that kind of occur, I think, for a lot of us when we start in this. It's such an overwhelmingly horrific reality that we impose on our world on every level. It's lose situation entirely. And it's exhausting in a way, right? Because we're born into this world that we didn't create, and we're here now. And it's like, hey, it's all set up this way. And I believe that we're born vegan, we're conditioned out of it. And then those of us that kind of like crawl back and like, wow, this is really the deal, right? Like we really should be that way. There was a reason why Mom and Dad took me apple picking and berry picking and pumpkin picking, but they didn't take me to the slaughterhouse. It's a very clear reason. We all know that. We all know it, We all know it. And we have Popeye too, and we still mush it away.
Right, I know.
Yeah, so that's how I got started, and I started going to different protests, and a protest actually that used to happen not far from here. Actually, I was driving down the street and I saw them like pull over. I was like, I gotta go. I'll be back later. She's like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I want to do that. And I got out, and with a great activist, Anthony Botti from New Jersey, he had a great group called Fawn, and I worked on that for a while. And ironically, that business just closed. But that was a fur store, and then we went into a lot of other things, slaughterhouses and the circuses in New Jersey and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's how.
Tell us about your circus activism. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. So the circus, I gotta say, I've done activism in almost most places in our movement, and I gotta say, in one way, I'm so enthralled that it's completely finished in my county and my state. I'll talk about that more in a minute. But was truly one of the most powerful forms of activism for any activist. I would tell all activists, like, please come to the circus protest. So I'll set it up for you. We're set up at a protest that, we're doing a demonstration. We usually have a big screen TV and an amplifier so that people can hear and see. And we have things, leaflets to share with people. And then people come in with their kids and they see us with the signs and the things, they try to walk past us, and, we get some comments and this and that. So, how dare you? Okay. Yeah. Got it. Here, just read this, and a few nice conversations, but mostly a lot of ignoring. When they come back after the 2 hours that we just sit there and wait for them while the animals are being tortured in a show, the people come back. And some of the people that have cursed me and threatened me and everything, I remember this one guy, F you, blah, 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 all the, like in front of his child, these are like, he's sharing violent words and violent hopes and dreams for me while I'm trying to share a message of peace, and which is, par for the course, and hiding his kid, and I'm going to come back. I'll be here. But what I do know is that when you're in there, just look at that animal differently. That's all I ask you, Dad. You have an urgent responsibility to take care of that kid and think in a more compassionate way to educate. He came back after 2 hours later. I saw him come back. I said, well, here he comes. There's thousands of people, but I saw this dude. He came right at me. I said, how are you? He said, I want to tell you something. He goes, I was prepared to come and knock your head off. He was a big dude, actually. He said, I was prepared to come knock your head off. But I want to tell you, like, I will never, ever take my kid to a circus. Absolutely ever again.
Right.
And he said, I never thought about it. I said, all of us have been to a circus too, brother. We're not in a different place. We just thought about it. And thank you for listening. He says, is there anything I could do to help? I said, yeah, you see all that crap that you bought for your kid? I said, you could return it because that's what they want. You just paid for it. He goes, I'll be right back. Guy went back, came back, gave us $100 for all the crap that he bought for his kid. The kid was crying, unfortunately, but he left and he learned a great lesson. There's other ways to entertain, and that's part of activism, man. It's not just yelling at people like you're terrible. We provided a beautiful sheet of all the things. Go to the farm sanctuaries that are here if you really want to be around animals. If you really love the circus, go to Cirque du Soleil. There's all kinds of other brilliant things. If you think it's important that you go see a fish at an aquarium, that your child has the right to do that, you can't beat Blue Ocean and all these beautiful things, Animal Planet. You can't beat that. They got people that spend zillions of dollars and hours and weeks and months on end with a camera inside of a friggin' hole in the middle of the ocean, like in their natural environment. You can't beat that. Right. We can't entertain our children with torture, slaughter. Well, not slaughter, they don't slaughter, but they do torture animals. We can't normalize that and say, this is the way we treat animals, and this is acceptable, and this is what monkeys do. Monkeys don't do that. Monkeys do that when they sit in a box, in a cage. That's what they do. Right. So it's important for us to do all of our part in sharing that, creating solutions. Right. It's very easy to say, this is bad. This is bad. Great. Now, what do you want me to do? You want me to eat carrots and walnuts? How many times have you heard that? Like when we eat grass? No, look, here's a list. Here's Happy Cow. Here's a list of this and that. Here's a billion recipes. Look at sweet potato soul. Look at this. Like there's all kinds of, we have a wealth of resources. So I will stop this part and share so clearly that it is up to us as activists to have the resources available to provide this easy landing for everybody. I didn't forget the question that you asked. You asked about the circus. So the circus. So we went to the circus, and this is what we were getting from people, so many people that would come and just be completely transformed just by the idea of, hey, just look at them differently when you go in. Mm-hmm. The reason why why I feel sad in some way that the circus experience is gone from when people come out for other activists, because it's the most immediately transformative experience. You don't do that. You don't get that at First Stores. You don't get that at slaughterhouses. But when people come back, oh my God, they have really experienced it for themselves, and they vow they'll never do it again. And I believe it. And the reason why I believe it, Sailesh, is because in my county, my county was the first county in the country, Bergen County, New Jersey, to get rid of live animal circuses. We have brilliant people that have done so much work here. Those of us on the street, those of us who went to the freeholder meetings. And so we got our county to see that it's horrible. We showed them videos. We spent a lot of time with them in their own office, their private time, going to lunch, whatever we can do to share. This is what's happening, and do we want this in our community? They said unequivocally no. And then we said, great. And they were on board. I remember one of the council meetings, one of the freeholders was just livid. She's like, what else can we do? I'm like, we have to talk to her because she's on fire. And we grabbed her and a few others, and we went to the state, and a lot of others that had done this work really on the state level, like, got rid of it. So Bergen County, New Jersey, first in the country, and New Jersey, first in the country to get rid of live animal circuses. And that was just before, the demise of Ringling Brothers and all these other horrible acts that enslave animals for our unit. So, yeah.
So I can imagine I can see the similarity between your activism in front of circuses and what Anita and the Save movement is doing in front of slaughterhouses.
Yeah.
Right. It's a similar thing that you are bearing witness to the torture and slaughter of animals.
Yeah. It's important to do that. That's how we use our resources, right? Like if that's a hard one too, right? Like, who wants to watch that stuff? Like, nobody does, right? Like, like a friend, Sean Munson, you probably know him. He had great filmmaker. He asked me, hey man, please watch Dominion. Like, we were at the Animal Rights Conference when it came out. Please watch. I said, brother, I don't want to watch it, man. Like, I just don't want to watch it. And we had a nice conversation. And I watched it, and it was horrible, but it was a beautiful film, a really important film for our species, right? To like really, hopefully something like that will never die out. But this is a really important piece of history. Like, he's a historian, and people who are doing that are really like the social implications of the way in which we eat and entertain ourselves and wear clothing. It's just as mind-boggling as slavery, right? To some degree, as mind-boggling as the Holocaust. And some of those references are, people don't really like, and I appreciate that too. But it's I'm on the fence with that, because it's hard when I'm talking to a person. I've got to try to create something in that moment that they're going to get from the horrible things that we've done as a species. So those are some of the things that we share. But yeah, so that movie, Dominion, who wants to watch that? Nobody. I had an idea. Hey, why don't we screen the movie? I have a friend who's part of the movement, and he's very generous with a lot of organizations. I said, why don't we rent out a whole theater and do a pay per play? Everyone watch that movie, you get $20 if you watch. Who wouldn't do? We get a lot of people on the street who want $20 to watch a movie. Free popcorn for everybody. Come in. And you come in, you watch, you leave, and then there's a donation thing there, or there's somebody at the end to say, hey, listen, if this moved you, feel free to put that 20 back so we can keep this going. But who wants, other than that, it's like the Save movement is so important. It's so important, but it's a really hard one to get so many people to watch. But it's again another vital component to our movement, right, to expose what is actually happening. So Anita is amazing champion in that world, and we need that, and all the great Save movements that have popped up all over as a result. So we do need it. We do need it. If we can get people to watch it, that's another story. That's really hard. Vegans don't want to see it, and people who are not vegan don't want to see it because they want to change their habits. We don't want to see it because it traumatizes us and makes us hard to even function. So but necessary for sure.
Yeah, we are actually creating a documentary called Animals Have Parallel History. I don't know if you know about that.
No.
I'll connect you with the producer later.
Oh, yeah.
So which basically details what has been happening to animals, and also showing that animals have been also contributing to our history. They've actually sacrificed their bodies to help us, and the thanks we have given to them is to turn them into objects for factory farming.
Yeah.
But anyway, there is going to be a time. Our time is coming when we will free the animals, and then we will ask for their forgiveness. I'm looking forward to that day.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day. I feel the same way. And when I look at an embarrassing history that I've had as a young boy, and I don't know what this is about boys. I don't think it's so much with women, but I have a friend who's vegan. His child's vegan, born, raised, conceived vegan. And we're hanging out. And it was a couple summers ago. There are a bunch of ants, and the kid just stomps on them. It's like, and he's like, "Oh, we're good." I said, "You guys, look at this. Look at this. There's something to look at here." That kid did not learn that from you at all. Right. There's this inherent thing about boys. I think maybe just boys, maybe girls too, but I really see with boys, like, why do we smash things? Why are we just trying to always smash things? It's a big, I think it's something that we should really, really look at, but it is interesting, especially what you're saying, like creating films, Sailesh, and creating this beautiful conference that you have, every few months, and all the great things that you're doing. It's, I shared it the other night, and I share all the time. It surely is just not enough to be vegan. It's right. Thank you for being vegan. It's kind of like, thank you for paying child support. It's like, what are you thanking the guy for? That's what he should be doing anyway. Right. It's the same thing. We should be eating like this. And unfortunately, we are a single-digit percentage of our population of over almost 7.5 billion people. It's just not enough to be vegan. We won't be able to get to where we want to get to if each and every one of us doesn't take some form of action. And I dare say every day, whatever it is. Look, you'll never catch me without a non-vegan shirt on, right? So why? Because it's an opportunity when people see me, to see something, and at the very least, it's normalized. Bit more. Right. It's a thought. Maybe it's a conversation with who they're with. Or maybe they'll say, "Hey, that's a great shirt." "Oh, really? That's great. How long you been vegan?" Like, "Oh, cool. Let's have a talk." So we have a nice conversation around that, right? Yeah. These are opportunities that we have, and we can just be active every single day. We could do huge things like you do. It's like we can, like, it was just an idea that you had, right? It all starts as an idea, and then you got your muscle behind it and created it, and it's unfortunately it's needed. It's really needed. Right.
Which brings us to the topic of the day, which is, what are your plans for May 1st, 2021?
Yes, sir. So thank you. On May 1st, this Saturday, just days away, 4 days, on May 1st, in over 50 cities in the world, over 13 countries, and about 55, 60 organizations, from animal rights, conservation, and environmentalists and religious organizations are getting together on this one day for one single action, one single performance protest action that we're doing in cities all around the world. It's called International Pandemic Outreach Day. One world, one day, one action. We're asking everyone to come and take a stand. It takes a minimum of 3 to 4 of you to 4,000, whatever the protocol is for COVID in your area. Some areas are locked down. We have some great friends up in Canada that are completely locked down. They're not allowed to be out on the streets. We have a really brilliant form of a handful of brilliant forms of activism that you could do. You could make a dummy and put the sign up there. We have incredible toolkit for absolutely every and anyone that gets involved. Even so much, you could even start on Friday. Here's what it takes. Minimum 4 people roughly that are activists that will come meet with you. I'm sure all of you have those 4 in your head right now. You have 4,000. If you have an organization, you have hundreds, maybe thousands of people. Step number 2, decide where you're going to do your action. Step number 3, we have a toolkit with signs and leaflets and audio clips of the siren with the message that we have, this ominous and imperative message that we have. And then number 4, print out the signs either at a store, or we have a really great program that prints up, the regular sheets of paper, but it's done in a way so that you can make as large a sign as you want. all the materials that we have there. You want a press release? We have press release. There's absolutely every and anything that we have. You can go to eatinganimals.causes-pandemics.com and you can click on the link for the day, which is International Pandemic Outreach Day. You can go to our Facebook, which is Eating Animals Causes Pandemics. You can go to Instagram, which is Eating Animals _causes pandemics. And we have all the tools. Today is Tuesday. What time is it? It's about 11. So at 2 o'clock, please go to our Facebook. You'll see a link to a conversation that you can have with a few of our representatives that will help you in any way, shape, or form. We'll give you any feedback that you need, any support that you need. We're fully committed to this. We have an amazing team, Canada, US. We're doing great work. We're working tirelessly, and we need your support in just showing up or doing some of the other actions that we have asked. We have a really great group of friends that have participated and supported the event, including yourself. And I'm just super grateful. So yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Hopefully I was complete about that.
Yeah, it's it does. But I'm going to do a video for you for promotion. But I wanted to ask you one question before I did that video.
Yes, sir.
Because you have one world, one day, one action, right?
Yeah.
But I know that, our objective is to shut this thing down. Shut this down, because eating animals causes pandemics. We know that. And it's not just one day.
Thank you. Keep talking, brother.
Okay.
Keep talking.
It's not just one day. So I want it to be one world, one action. And so it begins on May 1st and it's going to continue until we shut it down.
That's it. And that's it,
right? Okay.
You have my promise on that. And I'm just making sure my team heard that, because we've had some really nice conversations around that. And it is not one day. It is this one day. And the reason why we did speak about one day, there are so many incredible animal rights organizations and environmental organizations, conservation, doing amazing things.
Right.
Everything under the sun. We have people protecting pangolins. We have people protecting penguins. We have people protecting plant-based burgers, everything, whatever it is, your role is vital. However, one day, just for one day, if we could align on one day, think of the power of our entire, that's what we're committed to doing, right? Can you imagine? Just in the organizations and the people that all of us can think of just right now, if we, one day, one action, eating animals causes pandemics. Is it the only cause? Absolutely not. But it's the greatest cause, 75% of all. That's a pretty high number. So we should get behind that, because listen, at the end of the day, all the things that we're doing are important. But did we see how this world has shut down completely because of just this one virus that has actually very, very small fatality rate compared to some of the others? Right? This one's single digits, anywhere from 0.5% to 2.5%, depending on who you ask, up to 30% for swine flu, 60% fatality rate for avian flus, and who knows what else is coming up. 4,000 variants. UK vaccine minister said there's 4,000 variants. How long do we continue with this completely broken animal-based food system? It's just an archaic, horrible thing that there's too many financial ties and too many things that are part of it. But on every level, that's why I said even in the beginning, it's lose, lose, lose. Our environment loses. It's the greatest destroyer of our forests, our oceans, our air, our water, land, everything. It is the number one cause of death in the US alone. Heart disease and colorectal cancer, but heart disease is number one in the world. This is caused by eating animals. You don't see people dying from eating too much broccoli, right? So that's that. Then we talk about the number one most subsidized industry in this country alone. Like if your goal is to be fiscally responsible and not have government put all that money into something that's a failing business for decades and decades, you might want to consider this as something to support your own political and ideological efforts. And then the reality of us emotionally and spiritually, like every single person who's listening to this and every single person who's not, every one of us wants peace. We want to feel safe. We want our family and friends to be safe, to be loved, respected, and honored. How could we possibly expect that and offer the exact opposite in the world? It's math that doesn't equal the equation that I understand in any way, shape, or form. We can't expect things that we're actually being the creator of the opposite. It's quite hypocritical, actually.
Right. See, I talked to Dr. Aisha Akhtar when this pandemic first started, in COVID-19 first started, sometime in, I think it was May of last year. And she explained to me how animals cause pandemics. She said, basically, when you stress an animal, right, its immune system just shuts down because its adrenaline is just pouring through its body because the animal is saying, Mayday, Mayday, right? I'm being killed.
Yeah.
So at that point, the viruses multiply in the body. So anytime you stress animals, viruses are multiplying in the bodies of the animals, and then it could mutate, it could jump, it could be a perfect transmitter of viruses. So if someone has COVID-19 and they're part of the assembly line, in a slaughterhouse, then the virus can jump from that person to the animal and then jump from the animal to another person. Okay. So it's like a virus manufacturing factory and a pandemic mutation factory is what we have there. And so if you're running this mutation factory at the same time complaining that there are mutations of COVID-19 showing up, excuse me, is this not stupidity? I mean, is this not just sheer ignorance? We are deliberately doing it. We know this is the mechanism.
Yeah.
Right? We know this is the mechanism by which viruses mutate.
Yeah.
So this is why I say, we need to be, I would say that May Day is to happen every day of, maybe the first day of every month. People should come together until we shut down the killing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you please repeat that again?
We need to come together the first day of every month.
Oh, the first day of every month. Okay, thank you for saying that. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Must be a connection issue.
First day of every month, and demand that they shut it down until it is shut down.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we are just fooling ourselves, and we are basically complicit in the mutations that are happening. People are dying. In India, people are dying left and right from this pandemic. Yeah. Because now they have some other strange mutation that the vaccines don't even seem to affect. So now the vaccine manufacturers are saying, "Oh, we'll find another one." Excuse me.
Yeah, we're chasing our tail here, right? I mean,
exactly.
It's like you said. Yeah. Imagine you drove a car into mud. What are you going to do? Hold a hose on the tire? No, you'll be there forever. And this is what we're doing. Right. Hey, let's get it out. Keep moving. Yeah, okay, cool. Here's more food that creates that. Here's more things that don't address the root cause. We spoke about this the other day. Like all these things, masks, washing your hands, social distancing, vaccine, whatever your thoughts or beliefs are around that, why they all are important for whatever levels, they are still at the maximum. They are still, let's say they worked perfectly. They are at the rates that they all said they are. It is still a complete Band-Aid. It is not a root cure. The root cure is not to continue doing things. If I keep smashing my hand with a hammer, I'm like, "Hey, this is terrible. Somebody help me out." It's like, "Hey, why don't you stop doing?" No. Why would I do that? It's like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing, and no one wants to change, man. And it's really hard. It's like when we talk about all these things. Look, it's the same thing in all cultures, but this culture, American culture, is just quite special, and we don't talk about prevention. We barely talk about it. We talk about pills. We talk about all the things you can do once you get it to manage yourself so you can keep doing that. Think about what's happening with this vaccine. We're asked to take a vaccine. People are said, like, take it for what? So that you can live and things would be normal. Oh, cool. That's great. Yeah, it'd be great. Well, what's normal? Oh, well, some of the things that you do are actually creating that vaccine. So you want to prolong that? You would that address it? Like, what are we doing? My father had double bypass surgery, cut his chest in half, ripped it apart, took some veins out from his legs, put it in his heart. That's it. Guess what his first solid meal was, Dr. Silash? I'm sure you can only imagine.
Right.
Salisbury steak with gravy, little carton of milk, Jell-O, and cream of chicken soup. I mean, it's literally like they said, oh, thanks for coming. We hope to see you again.
Right.
It was, I lost my mind, and they almost kicked me out of the hospital. But I said, don't ever, ever, ever feed my father. He is not to get a single meal from any of you. I will be here every meal, and that's all he's going to eat. Don't feed him your hospital, revolving door diet. Not a chance.
Right.
So that's what we have to be mindful about this. There's no way out of this unless we, it's like we're in a boat. We're going from the front of the boat, taking the bucket, we're going right to the back of the bucket, back of the boat. We're not going to get out of this, man. So yes, one day a month, maybe the first day of every month, for everyone to unify, right? And even for something else, but this one cause, if we don't take full advantage of this opportunity. So in every bad situation, there's a silver lining, there's an opportunity, right? The opportunity, at least one of them, and even for you with climate healers, like, let's look at what's possible for this, for this horrible thing. Oh, we're doing it wrong. Cool. What are we doing? I want to eat hamburger. No problem. We have 1,000 different hamburgers. What else? I like chicken. No problem. We got that. Yeah, but I got to have coffee, with cream. I'm like, no problem. Butter. No problem. Right. And it's only getting better. It's only getting easier. That's where it's win, 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 win. Go vegan. Go vegan. It's so simple. We're trying not to say that, try to use that words, because our campaign is purely science and fact-based, right? That's it. And we don't want to alienate people, whatever. We want people to jump on. But the reality is, if we're only eating plants, man, there's so little. I don't want to say there's so little. There's a lot of things to worry about. But it really, if there's one thing that we could do that would make the greatest difference in our world, one thing would be to eat plants. That's what we were designed to do. We weren't designed to eat gum. We weren't designed to eat steak. We weren't designed to eat these things. We thought about it. We created it. We figured it out. But if you can't do it with these hands without a weapon or a tool or whatever, then chances are we didn't evolve to that point without it. So why do we forget it now? Right. That thing is destroying the planet, man. You know that. It's that little horrible 3-inch, 4-inch piece of muscle that has really done our planet in. If we really think about it clearly, it's insane. But
see, I like to frame it a little differently.
Please, I'm sure. Yeah,
you are on the Vegan World 2026 Moonshot podcast, meaning it's going to happen. People are going to change.
Yes.
Okay, they are going to change. We just give them the right food, they will eat it. If you give people healthy, delicious food, why would they say, I don't want to eat that? If it's delicious, they're going to eat it.
Yeah.
And if it's healthy, they're going to feel better. And then they will say, I want more of that. So fundamentally, I think in our minds, if we say it's going to happen, then we start looking at things differently.
Surely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then this is why I tell you, let's do one day every month. Okay. The first day of every month, no matter what day it is, let's go out there and tell people, raise this awareness that eating animals causes pandemics, not just new pandemics, also variants of the current pandemics are most likely coming from the same activity. Mm-hmm. Because, we know that slaughterhouses are a hotbed of COVID-19 infections. And I bet you that they're a hotbed of new COVID-19 infections too. Sure. Because, wherever you have a hotbed, that's where things are being brewed.
Yeah.
You can't say, well, let's look for that somewhere else. We're doing like a giant random experiment saying which new virus is going to show up now.
Yeah.
Knowing that what you're doing is going to cause new viruses. So this is the silliness of what's going on. And the government is pretending that it's not happening. Okay? The industry is pretending it's not happening. The mainstream media is pretending it's not happening.
Yeah.
But no matter how much you pretend, the truth is the truth. Whether they like it or not, this is the truth. Yeah. And so when we go out there once a month and tell people the truth, what is going on, okay, that this is causing not only the new pandemics, but the current pandemic to be prolonged. Okay? Shut it down.
Yeah.
So that should be a very simple, clear message, that all of us can get behind.
Yeah.
The entire vegan movement can get behind this message. No matter what else we do, we can spare one day a month to come and do this together with you.
Yeah.
I really believe that. I believe that that when we come together for a common cause like that, and when that cause is so fresh in people's minds, and it is so out there in front of them, because they're all wearing masks. We'll be wearing masks saying eating animals cause pandemics, right?
Yeah.
And so, we can even have animals wearing masks if you want. You could put on a chicken costume, wear a mask, and go and say,
"That's
eating
it."
animals cause pandemics.
Yeah.
So we can do theater around this. Okay, I think you have something amazing here, and I really commend you for coming up with this and bringing it to the forefront of the movement.
Yeah, thank you. Listen, I have to give credit where credit is due. This whole initiative came from me and a group of activists in New Jersey, New York. During this whole meat virus, I call it the meat virus lockdown. So, well, we're not doing stuff. Okay, now let's get together and incubate. Let's figure something. What are we going to do? How are we going to do? Okay, cool. Listen, just like you said, the whole thing is really about education always, isn't it? Like, people are unaware of stuff. And like you're saying, you're not going to have a show on any of the networks that share how this industry is actually just such a horrific and dead-end industry when all of your advertisers are trying to get you to buy their garbage, which is actually the way we're talking. It just will not happen on that platform. Fortunately for your show, for others, and for the internet and the great filmmakers, Kip and Keegan and Sean Munson, all these folks who are great people, Jasmine. It's important that we have these films that are out there. It's important that we share this information. It's important that we do it in such a vibrant way and with possibility at the end, right? Here's all the doom and gloom, and here's what's possible. Vegan World 2026, 1,000%. It's totally possible. Not only is it possible, it really needs to happen, as we have seen so many of the warnings from the IPCC. In 2018, we had 12 years. That was 3 years ago. Maybe we only have 9 years. So if we do this 2026 thing, then we should be in good shape for those predictions. But we really have an opportunity here to do that. And we saw that in the group that I have here, and we created billboard campaigns. So we made some billboards and we used that URL, Eating Animals Causes Pandemics. And I called the group, these folks from Canada. I said, hey, you guys, can we use your billboard? Can we use your URL? And they're like, oh my God, we would love it. We would love it, please. So great. I said, hey, you know what? I have another idea. Let's get on a call, our two teams. I have a bigger thing I would like to discuss. We got together. I shared my idea around making this a big global day, and they had similar ideas. We all had very similar ideas. I mean, who doesn't want to have something like that? And they had been doing some of these actions already in Canada with the suits on and stuff like that. So we got together, we created a beautiful team, International Pandemic Outreach Day. And, as I said earlier, over 50 cities and, almost 15 nations and 55 plus organizations and really great people getting behind it, standing behind it. We're going to have an incredible turnout for this one day, the first time, and keep your eyes and ears open for what's to come. We're excited about that as well. So yeah, please. Wonderful. Yeah. Please visit, since we're talking about Eating Animals Causes Pandemics, and click on the banner that says International Pandemic Outreach Day, or go to Eating Animals Causes Pandemics on Facebook. Yeah.
So are you on board with me calling for this to be a monthly event?
I am not only on board, that's why I keep asking you to repeat that, because we have some ideas of what we want to do in our organization. And it's literally the thing that I keep every meeting we have, like, oh yeah, cool. Okay, everyone have a good week. By the way, I just want to put out there one first day of every month. So you're helping me out. Please make sure that you make a disclaimer. I didn't pay you to say that.
No. Nobody has to pay me for anything. Okay, this is a good thing about having invented something.
Yeah. So I'm fully on board, Sailesh. I'm really, and we all are. Even on my team, we're on board to do whatever it takes. The most important action that we can do, as often or frequently, whatever. And that was the other part of it too. It's like, okay, we can go out and do a protest, but yeah, how can we get more people to do that? Like, oh, well, let's ask a couple groups in our area. No, we have a whole movement that's committed to doing stuff. And, we've tried to get all the great organizations. We have some incredible organizations that are already on board, but we need all for one day, just one day, do whatever you want. Are you not in alignment with what we're talking about? Yes, there's other ways to look at the same issue for sure. And we can use those, every other day, 29 other days of the month, but this one day, this is the opportunity that we are going to miss if we don't take it now. That's like my big motivator. Like, we have this happening and everyone is affected. Every neighbor in my neighborhood, everyone in my community is affected. And we could possibly have their ear more than we ever have had the ability to with sharing this one message. What is your role in it? Are you willing to take a look at that? And will you allow us to easily guide you in a way that chickens aren't paying me off. If they are, it's not working out too well. This is an opportunity for us to be in purpose and talk about one singular message. Does everyone care about horse races? Not so much, but they see it and it's said. Does everyone care about hunting? Harambe and Cecil. Yeah, but that's not the Has it affected their life? No. We're kind of a weird and greedy species that way. It doesn't affect your life. Then it's like, it's terrible, but I'm going to watch Netflix, or whatever, right? We're inundated with so much information. We have the opportunity to really share with people, like, you have a role in this, man. You got a role in this. And without any judgment, let's move forward. And we have some ideas and thoughts. Just take a moment, use this opportunity to be educated, inspired, and then take action. Right. That's it. Education, inspiration, action. That's what I'm committed to. That's the difference I'm committed to making in the world.
Yeah. See, I also don't think it's an opportunity that's going to go away. It's an opportunity that's there forever and ever, because every time we abuse animals, we're inviting a pandemic to either a new one to show up or for the existing one to keep propagating itself.
Yeah.
It's doing a really good job of it. People are dying in India. Okay. I've had people call me from my friends in India telling me they know 20 or 30 of their friends and family who are suffering, who are either in hospital or they're dying. And people have stopped going to hospitals because hospitals are full. Okay. So, and this is a mutation that seems to be resistant to these vaccines. So I say, what do you expect? You're still abusing animals. What do you expect? So it is going to keep coming back to us.
Yeah.
And if we eat healthy food, we can build up our immune system, holistically build it up.
Yeah.
So that you become more immune to these viruses. So I'm telling them, when will we as a species start addressing the root cause of these problems? So I think this opportunity is not going to go away. I'm telling you, you have this opportunity. If you want to do it once a week, I'm with you.
I'd love to do it once a week.
Once a month. Let's start with once a month. And then if it gets worse, we have to do once a week. Whatever it takes, okay? We have to keep telling people, wake up. You have to shut this down. Shut down this killing machine.
Yeah.
So...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm complete. Thank you. Go for it.
Just on that note, I think something like this is really important. I think I want to empower absolutely everybody who's watching that, as I said earlier, I don't believe it's enough to be vegan. It's great. You've taken care of your role. Awesome. But you weren't always there, probably. I wasn't always there. And if we really really want to make a difference, I mean, really, and I'm not just saying this like this, if we really want to make a difference, you can't just keep it to yourself. There was these great friends of mine, they're incredible yogis. We were having a conference, they were having a little bit of a workshop, and one of their teachers had said, like, oh, it's important, like to go into yourself, to take care, go into the cave to practice and be with yourself, work it all out. It's not important to go out and, just take care of you. And I said, listen, I have to say something. While I understand what you're saying, while I agree to a degree, you wouldn't be here right now if those two people right there had not come out of the cave. So I'd say the same thing, right? They came out of the cave to educate and inspire other people into action. These are my dear friends, Sharon Gannon and David Light from Jiva Mukti Yoga, International Yoga School, fantastic school that is based in animal rights. They are a yoga school, but they're doing it for a reason, and that's it. It's for the unification, for yoga, to yoga, to connect to oneself and to the environment. And to the universe, to everyone, to God, to everything. That's why they're doing that, to do that for all animals. So, and saying that, I'm sharing that because if any one of you out there are listening, you have that opportunity in everything you do. I don't care if if you're a sanitation worker, get the people on your truck and in your department to understand what's happening. I mean, we've even seen that in Forks Over Knives, where Esselstyn's son, he was a firefighter, and he went and he transformed his whole engine. Like all the people that he works with, no matter where you work, no matter what you do, you have an opportunity. Screen a film. You can do it online. Now there's so many opportunities. Like you could have a watch party where you decide to screen Seaspiracy for your friends and family. And then you can you could just ask so many people that are influential in our movement to have to do a Q&A with people. Right. I do this at movie theaters all the time in my area. I did Cowspiracy, lots of films, right? It's an opportunity. That's just one thing we can do. And if we don't do it, it's okay, but we need to. We have to have more people doing more. And I will say this too, because this is important for all of you fierce street activists out there. I love each and every one of you, and I'm out there as much as I can be. I wish it could be every day. I really do. I really wish it couldn't be every day. I wish we didn't have to do it every day. But things are happening, right? People are doing stuff. All my beautiful friends in the fur movement are just got rid of Saks now, another one. So all the big players are starting to fall, Prada and all these folks. Right. All of you who are out there on the street doing the great work, please bring one friend. Please make a commitment. Please make a commitment to bring one friend at every event. Is it easy? No. I try to do it too. Am I successful every time? No. Sometimes I come up with none, but it's not for a lack of trying. Sometimes I have 4 or 5, but at least more people are aware of it. And those 4 or 5 were people that I asked back in the day when I had 0. It's important that we bring people there because it's not a good thing to know everybody that's standing there. It's the same people that we're with all the time. And if I have friends who are like, well, I don't hang out with people who are not vegan. That's a shame. That's a shame. That's a lost opportunity. I understand, and it doesn't feel good. And you don't have to accept certain treatment and the way people talk and stuff like that for sure. But if you really are looking to make a difference for the lives of animals, if you're really looking to do that, and for our environment, all that, we can't just speak and preach to the choir. We need to go out, educate, inspire, and call to action many other people. Most of us were not that way to begin with. And so that's just where we are. Yeah. Use what we can.
It's also about our own health and our own, there's a genocide going on with this industry. Fundamentally, I see the killing machine, the animal agriculture killing machine, is not only killing 80 billion land animals every year, 1 to 3 trillion wild animals every year. It's also killing 10 billion trees every year, old growth trees, and countless new growth trees because we are harvesting them, just to make toilet paper and stuff like that. So we're killing them. And it's killing 40 million human beings every year. okay, through either hunger-related causes or diet-related causes. So this is a killing machine that's killing planet Earth. And it is there because we support it.
Yeah.
We're not speaking out against it. Right? So this is why I say it's important for us to just define it and tell people, tell the truth. This is really what's going on. Maybe you should take your poster, and I'm thinking of taking your poster, printing it up, and putting it on my garage door.
Yeah, good. Yeah, you could do that. You could wrap your car with it. We have a lot of great ideas.
Brilliant ideas, yes.
Yeah.
So maybe you need to have a space there on the poster saying your logo here, right?
Yeah.
Put your logo there. So
that's it. Yeah.
One world, one day, one action. We need to make it one world, one day. Yeah, one day a month, one day a week, until we get it done.
Yeah. I agree with you, sir. I wholeheartedly agree with you. Yeah.
So I would suggest adding starting Saturday, May 1st, instead of just Saturday, May 1st, starting Saturday, May 1st, So
that's good. Yeah.
Continuous effort it's not using this opportunity. This is telling the truth. That's what we are doing. Right?
Surely.
We're telling the truth.
Yeah.
But that, we are all being farmed. We are all being factory farmed. Stay quiet. We can give you a vaccine, make money off of that. Okay. And if you die, okay, fine. We'll find another vaccine for you.
Yeah.
So this is like, constant, this nonsense that's going on with this industry, right? And
lots of Band-Aids.
A lot of
Band-Aids and very few cures. And the cures are so unbelievably easy. Will eating vegan, eating plant-based, whatever you want to call it, will eating plants like cure a virus? They won't cure. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what's the best chance that we have at the best result, right? With this many people in the world for the habits that we want to create. And this is the best bet. Prove to me that it's not. Prove to me that's not. So
yeah, it actually boosts our immune system too. When you eat healthy, it boosts your immune system. It's a vaccine. I mean, to me, anything that boosts your immune system is a vaccine.
Sure. Yeah. By definition, right? It surely is. And I've shared this with somebody the other day, and they're like, well, I don't understand. I said, listen, imagine this. I come in a room, somebody here is trying to punch me. And I'm trying to fight him here. And then somebody else is here and I got to fight somebody else. Our immune system is being attacked every which way. And you want it to do what? To protect your house? I'm here to protect your house. But if I got this guy and that guy, it's not going to work. You have to support your immune system. I mean, look, I'm in front of a computer. I have paint on my walls that are probably made out of some type of petroleum byproduct. I have varnish on furniture. Like we cannot be free of the amount of toxins that we have in our world. Right. So our body is completely and continually fighting that stuff. What about all the emotional stuff? Oh my God, what happened in this country alone with the elections and all these things that are happening politically and religious stuff. I mean, there's just so many things emotionally, family stuff. There's so many things that we deal with just to try to maintain some type of peace in our body and our mind and our spirit. So anything we can do to create that would be fantastic. You could do it 3 times a day, and that one action will it should be fruitful in so many other areas that are troublesome in our world. Pollution, subsidies, you don't have to work so hard. Because why? Because we don't need to make so much money because we're not taxed so much. I don't know if that's going to ever happen, but that's where a lot of our money goes. And the environment and our health and the way in which we're, backtracking. I do so much teaching. I teach a lot, and there's children. I want to teach with parents and stuff like that. One of the things that it's like, man, there's a conditioning that you're continuing, with your family that you were given that you didn't really look into. How did you, when your mom told you to eat roast beef, it's good for you, like, is she a nutritionist? Is anybody in your family a nutritionist? No, they just passed that down from tradition because nobody had meat at that one time. But we have all the alternatives. We have all the opportunities. And again, I just keep going back to it. Like, we have to be in action, everyone. Please show up Saturday, May 1st, the first of many. May 1st, International Pandemic Outreach Day. Again, visit us at Eating Animals Causes Pandemics. And I will dare suggest, if this is a movement that inspires you, reach out. we need some great support. We can always use some great support. And this is international, all around the world. If you're great with media, social media, if you're great with anything, writing press releases, getting in touch with absolutely in every organization under the sun. If you're part of the environmental movement, the conservancy movement, conservation movement, if you're part of religious movement, any way, shape, or form, please jump on board. If you're a TikTok guru, come on, we need your support, because this needs to be done with a systematic and continual barrage of information and action, just like they're doing against our efforts, right, in the food industry and everything under the sun. So we have an opportunity to really take this back, and I'm just really, if everyone would jump on board Saturday, quick action, super easy, come on, and we'd love to see you there, and we'll see what happens for the future. And I'm so grateful for all your time and for all the great work that you do, Dr. Rao. Really, so much, man.
Well, I want to offer you one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
Once we do once a month, once we agree to do this once a month,
yes,
the next Vegan World 2026 Convergence is happening July 31st, August 1st. So August 1st, we'll dedicate that to a pandemic outreach day. Okay, perfect. So come along with your guns, with your data and your ammunition. Talk to us, talk to the Convergence, and let's get this thing rolling.
I'm there, brother. Anytime you ask me, I'm there. You know that. I'll be there 100%, always.
I love you, man.
I love you, brother, very much. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you. And as you said, it is about action. Any yogi will tell you that as you get more and more realized, you not only are a jnana yogi or a raja yogi, you may have started there, or a bhakti yogi, you may have started there, but you will eventually become a karma yogi as well, which is action. Because it's not enough to just self-realize. Once you self-realize enough, you will take action. And that's what this is all about. So thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you. And best of luck on May 1st.
Yes, sir.
I'll be sending a video out to you very, very soon.
All right. I'm waiting.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Have a beautiful day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.